Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Money Minded on 10 Soul Sisters 10X. And today is Friday, May the 24th, 2024. Hope and pray that all are well. Glad to be back with you one more time. Thanking God for a beautiful day and the weather change, and it's wonderful. So now that we are in change of season, we're going to revisit some things on tonight that we've already previously talked about. We've done a lot of, budgeting and doing different things like that. So tonight, since the weather is changing and it's getting warmer, we need to revisit those budgets, those plans that we've done. I believe I've been doing this for a few months now. And we started off talking about making budgets, trying to save money, have emergency fund, and different things of that nature. So we talked about the 50 30, the 50 30 20 way of doing budgets and how much of what goes in where. We talked about the 50 30 20 rule. Praise the Lord, Sister Sandra. How are you this night? How are you tonight? Um, so anyway, we're going to revisit that tonight because with change of season comes with your change of budget, change of things that you may want to spend, change of things on your needs list. So we're going to focus on that a little bit. So remember, 50% goes to our things that we need. 30% should go to our wants, and then 20% should go to your savings, okay? And things that you need to do for yourself. So 50% on needs, 20% on want, or 30% on wants, and 20 should go for savings and counting down debts, okay? So one thing that happens, those of us that live in the colder areas, one thing that happens in our budget is now that it's warmer outside, we get to turn the heat off. Yay! So when you turn the heat off, obviously that means your gas and electric bill is going to go down. Now, some of us may have central air in your home where it may not affect too much. Some of us don't. Some of us might use other things. You may use a fan, um, air conditioners, different air conditioners in your windows, or things like that. So your bill may fluctuate a little bit depending on how you heat your home, if your gas or your electric. Now my gas is going to go down, my electric might go a little bit up, further up. um, Another thing that might change a little bit is your water. We tend to use more water in the summertime. We take more baths, more showers. Obviously it's hotter, warmer, we're more sticky, or whatever the case might be. Okay, so those utilities, those needs may shift a little bit, all right, in those things. Again, obviously I'm just going to use me as an example. My bill has slowly been coming down since March. April, got to turn it down a little bit. By the middle of April, I was able to turn it off. So that next bill that came in, hey, there's a maybe a significant change in your heat bill. So the question is, what do you do with that extra money? The first thing we do is, hey, what we talked about a few weeks ago, let's go spend it. We can spend that money. But this is where you need to revisit your budget. We talked about maybe making adjustments to it. So you may want to make an adjustment to your budgets with that extra money that you're saving. Okay. So take a look at that wants and needs, that 30 and that 50% chart in your budget, and say, okay, well, for an example, my national grid bill was $200 in the winter months. Now I'm going to have May, June, July, August, possibly September, where your bills may only be $100. So that's 5 months. So if you're saving $100 a month, that's $500, right? So what do you do with that money? You should take it and put it in your savings or pay down debt. You should take that extra money and bring it down to that 20%. Okay, you shouldn't just go out on the limb and just say, okay, I got this extra money, let me go spend it. No, you got to continue to stay money minded, so that way you can have a better future, debt free, whatever your ultimate goal is. All right, very, very important to revisit these things. Now, when you do that and you notice your budgets or your bills are shifting or whatever, then you can go ahead and redo your spreadsheet. You can start a new one for the summer. You can create a second one, and you can call, if this is your first year doing this, you can have your winter budget and your summer budget. Okay. But take a look at that when it comes to these things that you're going to save some extra money just in utilities alone that you don't need to spend, and figure out what you want to do with that money. What's best for you? Don't go out and just impulse spend. All right. You want to save, put it in your emergency fund, or pay down debt. Those are the things that you want to do. Okay. Now it's also time that we want to go on vacations. We want to get out of the house. Summer's about to come. The kids are bored. You want to go here, there, I could take that $500 and use it for my want. Great idea. Sounds good. But I encourage you to look for some free programs. Okay. I know some of you might live in bigger cities than I live in. Utica does offer some free programs. They send the little newsletters home with the children. They have free golf, free swimming lessons. Oh my goodness. They have this year, they incorporated, which I like, one of the young people at my church is doing it, free art sessions and things like that. They have basketball camp. Look for the free items to help keep your children busy for the summer. Okay, because the free things are going to help you with that 500 extra. I'm just using this for example, that 500 extra dollars that you have, so you don't have to go out and spend it on vacation, that you can use it and invest it. Is there anything wrong with spending some of that money? No, but if you can save some of it to be better for the winter months or to be able to get ahead, I suggest doing so. We should always think about it. Obviously I'm a pastor, I'm biblical. I know we're not supposed to worry about tomorrow, and it's not worrying about tomorrow, but you can always plan ahead, so you can try to be a little bit ahead of the game. You can even take that and say, okay, well, I'm going to keep that in my needs category, and that's extra. So when I get into the winter months, I don't have to put that $500 in it. I'll have it there. There's another idea that you can do with it. But anyway, so there's nothing wrong with putting it into your wants, but look for those free things for the children to do. Give yourself a little budget if you're going to use some of that for a vacation or whatnot. Another thing that we do quite often is we take the grandchildren to the park. The park is free. Will they get bored after a while? Do they want to spend the whole summer in the park? No, they don't. Yes, they will get bored. But at least it will help you to be able to save some of that money that you're saving from the heat bills or whatnot, that you don't have to go out and spend it on those items. Okay. So revisit your budget, take some of that, use it if you would like. If you have $500 and you said, okay, well, I'm going to save $250 and I'm going to spend $250. That's great. All right. Look for that $250. Another thing I just thought about too, we have the movie theater. The movie theater offers free movies in the summertime, and they show the Disney movies and stuff. Of course, they're not the newest Disney movies. I think I seen a commercial or something for a new Garfield movie coming out, and another coworker told me about a movie If, and I know these are the things that the kids want to go see, but obviously, going to the movies is very expensive. But if you want to give something, looking for those activities and things to do, there's something else that they can offer. All right. So give yourself a little budget of that extra money that you want, but look for those free items. All right, and incorporated. Some of the colleges in the area, the Ys or whatnot in your area, even for adults, may offer free yoga classes or free swimming lessons, or a game night or anything like that. Find those things that will get you out as a family together, that will cost you the least amount of money. Look it up, Google it, go online. There's always, always, always activities. And then look for the cheaper ones, look for the $1 or the $2 activities, or a donation. Obviously, you don't want to be too cheap when you give a donation, but you can look for those things to help. All right. So revisit the budget. the extra money that you have, try to do something with it. Get ahead. Okay. If you're really frugal, you could take that 500 and say, hey, I'm just going to there. I'm ahead of the game, or this is how I'm going to start saving. That's great. Okay. Make sure you do it. All right. Now, why we're revisiting our budgets at the beginning, I had challenged everybody to take everything that you bought and you write it down. Write everything down. If you go to get a cup of coffee, if you go buy a bag of chips, if you get a bottle of water, but give a bottle of soda, okay. And hopefully you came up with a number and you realized how much you were spending on those items by stopping at the quick market, a Fast Track or Cliff's gas station, whatever is there, whatever 7-Eleven, whatever you have in your area, you are stopping at these and you're buying these items. Okay, so revisit that as well, because now you should have a number and say, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that I was spending $20 a week on drinks. What can I do to change that up as you revisit your budgets? Okay, again, I gave the example of I like the cappuccinos in the wintertime. And I'm not a coffee drinker, but I went out and bought a Keurig and I bought the little cups and I saved a lot of money doing it that way instead of stopping at the convenience store and getting that drink. Okay. So as we're revisiting, we're saying, hey, we got this extra money that we can spend this summer. Yay, who? Don't do that. I'm also just reminded, we brought the kids at the church this too. In New York State, if you live in New York State, you have to have a fisher's a license to go fishing. They do offer 2 dates in the summertime that you're allowed to go fishing without a license. So we took advantage of that, and it was an outing for the young people. We went and went fishing and talked to young people how to fish. What did it cost us in that extra? In my example, in that extra $500 that I saved for not paying so much in my electric bill, what did it cost me? Maybe $50 to buy some make them some sandwiches in a box of chips and some juice, 50 or 60 bucks, something like that. Okay. So again, I'm still ahead of the game because I was able to save that money. So revisit your budgets, revisit what you're doing. You want to check it at least once every 3 months. See how you're doing with it. Make adjustments. It's okay. And if you messed up, if you spent too much, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just start another spreadsheet, a journal, whatever way that you're doing with the budget. Said, okay, I'm going to challenge myself to do better. Okay. Look at those goals that you have. If it wasn't realistic, we talked about SMART goals. If it was specific, it was measurable, if it was attainable, realistic, and it was time bound. That's what SMART goal is. Okay. If it wasn't that way, it's okay. It was your first 3 months doing it. Go back and look at it again and say, okay, let me make an adjustment here, and I'm going to be doing better in that situation, in that category. All right. So this week, you're going to revisit those budgets. You're going to make adjustments, see where you can save, and see where you can, spend a little less, save a little bit more, or if you're saving some more money. Also, we had talked about streaming services, gym memberships. If you are no longer have that gym membership, if you had Hulu and Disney and my goodness, what are they? Philo and all those different channels and whatnot, and you weren't using them, and you've now canceled those subscriptions. What are you doing with that extra money? Where is that money going? Okay, that's what's important. So revisit that as well, because you don't want to do all this and say, well, I'm trying this, Sharon, and 3 months later, I'm still in the same spot. All right. You got to take a look at it and say, well, why? Why is that happening? What am I doing that I'm not able to save? What am I doing that I'm not able to pay down my debt? What adjustments can I make? All right. So look for those things, because if you're saving that money, if you don't have anything to show for it, it's got to be going somewhere. So write it all down, make it plain, figure it out where you're going, and make adjustments. I bought this new home in 2019, and so I put myself on a little budget thing here. Praise the Lord, Sister Carolyn. Of getting better with my landscaping. Yes, I cut my own grass. Yes, I do my own weeding and stuff. Do I have a green thumb? No, not at all. Um, but I'm cheap, y'all. So I tried to save some money so I don't have to get a landscaper. And then, of course, I call my son, AJ, Mom needs some help, whatnot. And he'll come and mumble, grumble, and he's, Ma, you need a landscaper. So I'm trying to put it off as long as possible. But I know eventually that's going to be a need. And knowing that we have a landscaper at the job, obviously they charge corporate more than they would charge. Okay, so what am I doing? I'm planning for those, years to come. We'll say, hey, I'm not gonna, I'm already tired. I'm not gonna be able to cut the grass or trim my trees or whatnot. So what I do, I try to buy uh, Lady Grace will love this. I try to buy a new power tool, one tool every summer. So I got this brand and I buy one. So this year I bought the trimmer, and I'm to trim the bushes and stuff to try to keep them all even. Okay, I limit myself to one a year, so that way, by the time I'm ready to give it to a landscaper or hire someone, maybe not a professional landscaper, but somebody to do the work, at least I will have all the tools available that they would need to use to do what I need to do around the house. Okay, so that's what being money minded is. That's what's making adjustments in my budgets, making adjustments in my plan. Okay, so this week I said, okay, let me go ahead and buy it. It was like $180 for the trimmer. So I went ahead and purchased it. I said, okay, well there's my limit. I'm not gonna, go out and buy it. No, oh, this looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool and whatnot. Nope, don't want to overspend until I get it all there what I need. So I have it in my plan. Okay, so revisit your budget, revisit what you're spending, revisit what you're putting out, revisit your bills, what you're going to have, your streaming services that you canceled. Take that extra money and invest. You could put it in 401k, IRA, pay down debt. If you got a big huge credit card, if you got a huge personal loan or a title loan or anything that is got high interest rate, you could take that extra $500 in the example and put it on that to pay down that debt. Okay. And I promise you, when you start doing these things, you're going to feel better about yourself, and it's going to be easier to stick to the budget. All right. And remember, a couple weeks ago, we talked about impulse buying. Don't just go out and spend. Hey, I'm going to save $500 this summer on National Grid because I don't have the heat on. And, somebody like me who's not home all the time, yes, I have air conditioners. Yes, I have fans. But make sure you turn everything off before you leave and whatnot. So my bills, are lower. So all the extra money I'm spending or that I'm saving, I'm just not going out and wasting it. You want to do something with it. All right. So it's very, very important. I was just watching a YouTube video, and a young lady was talking about finances and stuff, and people actually sometimes people feel like a failure because they revisit the budget and they realize that they were able to stick to it. But don't feel like a failure. It's okay. It's okay to make those mistakes. You have to learn how to make those adjustments. And a lot of financial advisors will tell you to make adjustments in it, because if you don't make those adjustments, then you probably won't get anywhere. All right. So just like change the season, you have to change the budget. We put the boots and the coats and the hats and the gloves away, and now we're getting out the bobby socks and the sandals and the Crocs. Could wait to put my Crocs on. The cool shoes and whatnot. It's the same thing with your budget. All right. We'll take a real good look at it and make adjustments and critique what needs to be changed. And that extra money, don't impulsively spend. Just don't go out and spend it all. All right. And if you weren't able to stick to your plan, it's okay. Make the adjustments, revisit it, and go for the next month, 3 months. So this is what end of May. So we might say June, July, and August. Those are your summer months. Okay. So make that budget for the summer months. Make sure, parents, if you have children and you got to get the school supplies and stuff, you always want to be thinking ahead. What's coming ahead? Okay, long as Jesus don't come, school's gonna start again. Even though school's getting out, you need school supplies. They need clothes. They need sneakers. That extra $500, you can use $250 for that and save the other $250, whatever the case might be. Wait for sales. Don't do the impulse spending. I know it's Memorial Day weekend. A lot of stores have Memorial Day weekend sales, and they got this on sale and that's on sale, and they do all of these things to try to entice you to buy this and purchase that and purchase that. I was talking to my children yesterday, and they were amazing me how school's not even out yet, and some schools are already sending out their school supplies and things for next year. Well, don't jump on that. Wait till Walmart gets the stuff out. Wait for the 25-cent box of crayons. Wait for the dollar pencils or pens. Don't go out and impulsively say, "Oh, I know I got to get it. I want to get it done." No, be a little bit patient and wait. Because when you wait, trust me, I usually buy the school supplies for my grandchildren, and I'm not buying nothing until Walmart gets it out there, or Target or whatever, and they got the little crayon box for 99 cents and pencils and crayons. Buy it in bulk. The glue pencils, glue sticks, you can get four for $1. Yep, I'm that bargain shopper. That's me. Why? Because if impulse and you're just going to buy and buy and buy, you save, and then buy enough. I try to buy them enough to last them the entire school year, so you don't have to go out and buy it again. Not sure if anybody has been out and purchased anything, even when it comes to general office supplies. But these binders and things, they're expensive. Binders are $7, $8, $9, $10 a binder. Then they want the 1 inch or 1.5 inch and 3 ring and the pocket in the front and all of these things. Those things add up. Okay. So now while you're doing your summer budget, make sure you include those things in that budget. So you can tell yourself, hey, I'm saving $500 because I don't have to pay this big heat bill. I'm going to take that $500 and use it $300 on this, on the kids' school stuff, and you're still saving too. And you can put the $200 in your savings account. Okay. So make adjustments. The other thing I saw, which is great, is the price of groceries supposedly is starting to come down again. You're going to see milk coming down a little bit, eggs coming down a little bit. So your grocery bill might be a little bit cheaper, unless your kids are home for the summer and the grocery bill is going to go up. Okay. Again, make adjustments for that. If your grocery bill is higher because school is going to be out and they're home breakfast, lunch, and dinner, if you don't get those activities or whatnot things in there, you gotta budget for it. Okay. Make a plan. Put it in your summer budget. You may have to skip your cup of coffee or your Starbucks drinks, and go ahead and put it towards that expense. And that way you'll still be able to stick to your budget. So there's always a way around something. There's always, you can figure it out. It's tedious, it's time consuming, it could be stressful, but it's if you want to be money, if you want to get ahead, if you want to be able to live, not having to worry about paycheck to paycheck, it takes the time to do it. So again, it's been 3 months. Take the time, go through your budgets, make adjustments, and be okay with it, and try your best to stick to it. The other thing that you can do with that too, lastly, is that you can save it for vacations next year. Okay. A lot of times, obviously, you guys know I travel a lot. So what we do is we look for trips ahead of time. We look for trips a year or two out. We already have our trips planned for next year. A lot of times, if you get with a travel agent or whatnot, they may have a payment plan. All right. So you can stick with that payment plan and start paying on that trip now. So you don't have to say, oh my goodness, this trip is here, this month, that much. Okay. So that's the thing to do. Also travel off season. All right. For my one of our family members went and they took their kids to my son's baby mama took the kids to Disney during spring break. Um, of course, spring break is very busy. They were telling me yesterday some of the rides were 4 hours long. You're going to see cost go up because they know that people are going to travel and they're going to go because there's no school and whatnot. So sometimes try to plan your trips or what off season. All right. When you know there's not going to be a lot of people beginning of the school year, summertime, sometimes there's cruises and things that you can get at a cheaper rate on their off season. Look that up. What is the off season time for cruises? As long as it's safe, you don't want to go hurricane season and things like that. But different trips and whatnot. When we went to Europe last year, we found going on trips in March are cheaper than going in April or whatnot because that's before the spring break. Okay, if you go after in October, November, you'll find trips and things a little bit cheaper because it's considered off season. But you can plan for that. So if that's something you want to do next year, if you have this tripper that you have on your bucket list, you could take that $500 and say, "Hey, I'm going to save this for that, and I'm going to work towards that. Let me see if I can find something to work for that." Okay, a travel agent. Try to find a travel group. We did it. We did our Europe trip with Globus Bus Company, and our 12-day trip around Europe. But we did it through a travel agent, and it was really nice. It was all, we were on a plan, even for Dubai next year. My next year trips, we're on a plan now, and we pay towards our plan, and it's all paid off before we go. Okay, so what we do is we put that in our budget. Okay, I'm gonna need X amount of dollars for this trip. Let me budget this, so I'll have it there. All right. Somebody, people, oh my goodness, you travel, it costs so much money. It really doesn't if you do your research, if you do your homework. All right. So take a look at it and make sure you revisit that. If you can't do what you want to do this summer because you're being money minded, you're really trying to stick to your budget, it's okay. Maybe you could do something in the fall, or maybe you do something in January or February. But make sure you try to budget it and keep it in line. All right. Lastly, I would like to say, if anybody has any suggestions or anything that you want to talk about, please shoot me a text, a message, put it in the comments and things. I don't want to keep being repetitive and talking about the same things over and over again, to try to help you be money minded, but it's very, very simple. It sounds simple as long as once you get there, I should say it's simple, but it's all about being frugal, not making impulse spending, not living check to check, making budgets. It's all the same thing, and you really can live a good life. You don't need $1 million to feel like you're actually living, or you're able to do something or have something to show for it. And you can live debt free. You're always going to have your normal, bills and whatnot, but you can pay down debt and live debt free if you have your mind in the right place to be able to do it. Okay. So please let me know if there's anything anybody's interested in or want to talk about. I'll continue to look things up, but I wanted to revisit that tonight to make sure that we do some adjustments, because it has been, can you believe it? It has been 3 months already. So take a look at it, get that summer budget ready to go. All right. God bless you. And remember, if you give the Lord tithing and free will offering, He will open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing you won't have room to receive. All right. God bless you. And Lord's willing, we'll be back with you again next Friday. Have a good night.